And all righty, guys. This is our 29th episode of Movies in Minutes, and I'm honored to have my friend Eric on. Eric, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother. How's everybody out there?
I'm hoping we're all good, right? Just so you know, too, for the audience and for Eric, Eric runs one of the best horror auctions every Saturday. I got your link in the description for everybody too. All right, buddy?
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Me and my wife try our best to do the best we can with it, and been doing it a while and have fun doing it. I appreciate you putting that link down there for me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, I know sooner or later, one of these days, you're gonna have more stuff on the personal collection than you're gonna have to let go. But until
Yeah,
that day, I'll send people your way.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Of course. So we had three movies to talk about today, but before I hop in, I always ask people, before we get going. I mean, I'm sure I have a little bit of an idea myself personally, but what kind of movies do you like? What kind of movies like get you going, like excited, especially like the ones that would get you to go to the theater? What ones really are like passionate for you?
Man, to be completely honest, the newest horror films that have like piqued my interest
Hmm.
have been, of course, the Conjuring movies.
Hmm. hmm
I'm those I just find very interesting because I love the history of Lorraine and
hmm
and their investigations. But classic, man. I mean, I love a good old cheesy '80s film. I mean, don't want to say cheesy, but Halloween, Jason. But new wise,
hmm
I enjoyed the new Evil Dead that just
Oh,
came out.
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought they did a pretty decent job with that one.
definitely.
Uh,
Especially considering it wasn't what's his name for once.
yeah,
No
yes,
Bruce Campbell and no oh, what's the other guy? He does them all.
Sammy
Sam
Raimi.
Raimi.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was kind of different, but I thought they did a pretty fine job. But other than
Yeah.
that, can you think of anything great
Like
movies, baby?
Bloomhouse, you've been like in
Yeah,
Bloomhouse,
basically anything. Bloomhouse is doing a really good job with movies.
in the horror scene, they're doing really good.
Yeah, some of them
Hmm.
that they put straight out to like to
Screaming.
the yes, those aren't
Mm.
so good. But other than that, I like the remakes they did. How they did the Trick on Freaky Friday and how they're
Hmm.
taking old movies and kind of turned it. But the Bloomhouse movies are really good. But I'm basically just an old school man. Anything John Carpenter does,
Hmm.
I get more excited watching his movies, and I've seen them a billion times, but I still get
Did
excited
you
when I watch them.
did you see the news that just came out? I think yesterday morning or today about his new show.
Yes.
Of course, you probably caught it before anybody.
Super pumped. And then I also found out that that new
Yeah.
Monarch
Monarch.
the series is going to have
Yeah.
Kurt Russell in it, the TV
Yeah.
series. And
Yeah.
anything Kurt Russell does, he could sit in a chair and I'd watch him for an hour. So I'm
That's
excited. I'm excited about that movie. So we'll see.
that's
How about you, man? What kind of movies you enjoy nowadays?
I mean, no, I don't think anybody's asked me that in a while. I mean, here's my problem, right? I'll sit down and watch a movie before I'll watch a show any day of the week these days. So I'm out there pounding the pavement, like, trying to support the theaters, and I'll go see damn near anything. The question is, what do I end up enjoying is really what it's about. And it's funny, there's stuff that I expect to enjoy, like horror stuff, especially like this year there's been a lot of good like indie horror if you haven't caught any of them yet, like um oh um talk to me was really good.
I haven't seen that one.
No, so that one came from like a first time director out of Australia, and all Australian cast, and it's just like, we when you see a lot of horror movies you kind of know what to expect. So
Right.
then like when you get somebody from overseas that's doing their own thing and they go left and left and left, I'm like, I don't know what I'm expecting here, but I'm happy that I'm getting surprised. And that's
Right.
a great feeling.
Oh, it is,
So
especially with nowadays, because I mean, Hollywood is just they grab something, remake it, throw it out there because I mean, it makes money, and that's the whole name of the game. But
mhm.
good Lord, it just enough is. I mean, you can make remakes, I don't mind, but when you start making remakes of remakes of remakes of remakes,
Mhm.
it just
And that's
loses the
that's
thing.
why that's why a lot of these indie ones are good, because these guys are doing it as a passion project. They're not really worried about, hey, if they make a buck, great. If not, at least I put my story out there. And those are
Exactly.
great.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
there's another one too that I caught on an early showing. I don't think it comes out until this Friday, but it's called It Lives Inside. And that was
I've
another. Did you
seen
see
the
the
preview,
trailer for that?
seen the trailer for it. Have not seen. I've seen the trailers. It
Yeah,
looks
it's
interesting.
that's another one that's really different because it deals with like Hindu and Indian horror myths and legends and stuff like, nobody talks about that stuff normally, so it's like cool to see the different stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, I agree with you because there's so many. There's
Hmm.
different areas of land have different folk tales. I mean, and you could do.
Yeah.
It's unlimited. I mean, you could
Yeah.
Japan,
Hmm.
Ireland, Australia, England. Have all these
Hmm.
places got their little superstitions of the boogeyman, and I just think, and
Hmm.
there's so many great young writers out there, but Hollywood just more interested in. We would like to do that, but we know if we make Texas Chainsaw Massacre 10,002, we're going to make money, and they're going to go to
Yeah.
that way. It's just sad because I know there's a lot of great kids
Yeah.
out there that write
The, the
script.
the beauty of right now, especially with I mean, like I hate to make it sound like it's a good thing, but we got the actor and writer strike still going on in Hollywood, and that almost gives license to those young writers and young production companies to actually like go off because the big theaters can't, only have so much product to put out right now. So these other guys can kind of shine because they're not limited by like the, same rules.
Agree,
So,
agree.
um, yeah, man, and I knew I was pretty sure you were gonna say horror, but I know there's a wide like swath of it. Like you could get something brand new. In fact, you were just mentioning Conjuring. I did see The Nun too, also.
I haven't seen
A
that
week or
yet.
so back.
I've,
If you
I've,
like the Conjuring movies, you'll like it. I mean, it's definitely a sequel. Like they want you to have seen the first one, so it's not as easy a jump in for somebody who hasn't seen it. But it's like cool if you have, and you're like, oh hey, I remember this that happened in the first one, and these other things that happened in other Conjuring movies. So,
cool, cool, excellent, excellent. No, other than horror movies, I mean, I'll pretty much watch anything, but enjoyable wise, it's
mhm.
usually horror or just a good action flick. Just like
Action.
anybody else. Like
Yeah.
I love Jason Statham. I think he's any movie that man's in, I think is hilarious, especially like him in his new. He's kind of doing a little comedy in
Hmm.
there too. So, I just like the action movies and everything, but pretty
That's
much
funny
I'll
you
give it.
mentioned that. The next episode that I'm gonna have is gonna have Expendables 4,
And now,
because
and I'm
yeah,
excited about that one because I mean, come on, they put Megan Fox in it. I mean,
yeah. We got Megan Fox, but we lost a lot of the other cool guys. I
we
just
did.
watched,
Right.
We
yeah, I just rewatched number 3, and that had so many great actors. You had Arnold and Mel and Wesley Snipes, and like they like chocked them just full in that movie.
I
So
agree. We'll get a spot, but that's another one of those movies
yeah,
where I enjoyed
yeah,
it, but
yeah,
it's kind of and they're still enjoyable, but you know what you're getting into something ridiculous, unbelievable, but
yeah.
you're going to get lots of explosions and lots of car chases and all the good stuff.
I definitely put that into my review for the other ones as I was like rewatching those and writing stuff up. I'm like, these are popcorn movies. You're gonna watch them.
Yeah.
You're gonna love them. They're not gonna
Yep.
win any awards, but you had a
Nope.
good time.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. 100% agree.
So, yeah. So to all our talk of horror, the first movie I threw at you, I knew was going to be a wild card, but it is a new movie, so we had to talk about it. My Big Fat Greek Wedding. It's on its third movie here. So I know before we started recording, you mentioned that it was something that you weren't super familiar with, but
I,
you got a
I
chance
watched the
to watch
first
the
one.
trailer.
I
You have
did
seen the
watch
first
the
one?
trailer, and I've seen the first movie. I saw
Okay.
the first movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
Like I said, it was one of those popcorn movies where it was fun. It was good. I did not see part two, but I did watch the trailer for part three, and it
Hmm.
looks like they're up to their same. I just like it
Shenanigans.
because, yes, and it's just great human comedy. It's not, physical or anything like that. It's just good written humor comedy. I enjoyed the first one, and like I said, the third one looked good, but I have not seen the whole movie yet.
That's fair. I mean, so when you watched that trailer, did you get a sense for what you thought the plot was about for this third outing?
But it sounds like that they're going back to the Greek islands and see if
Hmm.
they can, I guess, do the marriage thing again. I'm sure it's going to be like the first one, just a kind of let's see how much cluster things we can put in there and then get out and make it a good movie. But it definitely looks like they're kind of, same characters, just kind of going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So, I think it'd be good. Like I said, I'm not huge on that one, but like I said, I enjoyed the first one. I remember watching it. I watched it at home, but it was a good movie. But yeah, no, the third looks interesting. It does.
I
look
know
interesting.
a lot of people say that first one is kind of like when you look back at like rom-coms, it's definitely like one of the ones that like stands out. It gets like parodied a lot. People talk about it, at least for the first one.
Yep.
You didn't miss much with number two. It's kind of shocking who gets married. And I could say the same thing again with number three, no spoilers, but it's new people getting married. It's just not anybody you expect. So, but yeah, they're trying to go back to the homeland, which for some reason, the first two movies they never actually were in Greece, but they made it home. They're making it home because the main character's dad, in the trailer they say it too. He passed unfortunately, so they're going home, kind of last wish of dad, to go home and get my journal back to my childhood best friends. And
Okay.
it's like the journey and the things that are happening along the way is really the story that we're there for. Not so much. If they tell you in the trailer what the movie's about, so you're like, okay, well, why am I watching? I'm watching to see what happens, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So even I have to ask, and I mean, sometimes I know the answer, sometimes I don't. Do you think based on what you saw in the trailer and knowing you haven't seen number two, do you think it's something you would watch? It's
If
okay to
it
be
was,
honest.
to be honest, in the movie
Yeah.
theater, no. But if I was
Mhm.
home with my wife and it came on the TV, yes,
Mhm.
I would
Okay.
watch it. Yeah,
That's totally fair.
I would tune it in because, like I said, I remember the first one being had its moments, and
Yeah. Yeah.
my my big thing with movies is it's always the first one that's just really awesome, and then when it makes a
Yeah.
lot of money, they're like, "Hey, we can make some more money."
Yeah.
Very rarely does a second one turn out good, and then when you start getting to three and four, you're kind of. But if you enjoy the characters, if you enjoy the atmosphere of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
then it's going to be a great movie for people. But yes, if I was home, I would.
Hmm.
If it was on, I would watch it. That's for
That's
sure.
totally fair, totally understandable. Um, second movie we're talking about tonight. Now we actually get into some horror stuff here. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, when I watched the trailer for this one, like I don't know if you've seen any of the other Agatha Christie movies. This one, like the first trailer they put out for this movie, looks 100% like a horror movie, with the
Yeah.
jump scares and the stuff. And then at the very end, they show you Kenneth Branagh, and you're like, oh shit, this is an Agatha Christie. Like I almost didn't know, that it was related until you see him with the mustache, and you're like, all right, this is Hercule Poirot.
Yep.
So,
When it comes to Agatha Christie, growing up,
yeah.
man, my mother was a huge fan. I watched every TV show, every
Hmm.
movie.
Hmm.
I love those stories, and I love that they're finally bringing them to the big screen.
Hmm.
And this one, I agree with you. When you first see the preview, you're like, "Oh my god, this looks like a horror film, like some dude hunting ghosts or something." And then it's all of a sudden, as soon as you see him, I'm
Hmm.
like, "Oh man, okay, this is going to be good." Because every story that it's just the twists and the turns. I mean,
Hmm.
horror's fun because you get the scary, the blood, the guts, the suspense. But her
Hmm.
stories and her movies are just they
Yeah.
they get your mind working. And I
So
like movies like
imagine what
that.
happens when you get horror that you like with the twists and the turns and all that slammed into one,
Yep.
right?
I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely going to be a good one. That will be one that we will go to the theaters and see. I'm
Nice.
not definitely.
Now you said you watched them growing up. Have you kept up on the more recent ones, like when they redid Murder on the Orient, or was it Death on the Nile?
Yes and
Yeah.
yes. Death on the
Okay.
Nile. I did not watch the whole film, but the
Hmm.
Orient I did. But Death on the Nile, I did not finish it. I want to, but no,
Hmm.
I did Death on the Nile. But that was what got me because I was so excited they were bringing the stories back and
Hmm.
kind of making these new movies. Nothing wrong with the old one, you know.
Hmm. It's
Hell,
just a new audience and new take on them.
exactly because I grew up Charlie Chan. I mean, all the old
Oh my
school,
God, Charlie Chan. That's a deep cut.
and it's just those are just I just great memories with my mother, but I just remember I enjoyed the movie so much because the twist and the plots. You'd be like, okay, he did it, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden he sits there explains to you why you're a moron and why this person did it. But they're great films, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Well, one thing I'll say, and I mean, like this is not like a knock on it so much, but if I have to like rank them, I think I go like having seen all three: Murder in the Orient, Haunting in Venice, and Death on the Nile. Death on the Nile is not bad. It's just these ones are the other two are better. You know,
Okay.
if you got to put something in order. Um, I man, I really I always try to avoid spoiling, like but we got to talk a little. Um, I think the Haunting in Venice gives you equal parts of what you need out of the movie. I think you get the horror, the horror vibe, the uncertainty, the wondering, like how in a lot of horror movies you're always like not quite sure if the thing you're seeing is real, like a real supernatural thing, or is it just in somebody's head. And
Right.
they definitely play on that. And then you also get the true crime, solving the mystery type stuff.
Yep.
And the beauty of these ones in particular is you can watch all three movies and be like, great, I know all this stuff about Hercule Poirot, or you could watch just one of them and you don't lose anything since they're not like ones and twos and threes. They're just more movies in the same universe. You
Correct.
know, Poirot, I'm almost positive he doesn't say a single thing about the previous two movies.
No.
You just
And
kind
you're
of know that they happened.
yeah, and I like that how each movie, like you said, you don't have to see the
Hmm.
Death on the Nile to enjoy this film. I
Hmm.
mean, you can
Yeah.
literally watch any of those films,
Hmm.
enjoy them, watch them out of order, and
Exactly.
you're
Yeah.
not. And that's what another good thing. You hit the nail on the head. They're each separate. They're the
Hmm.
same thing plot wise, but they're just
Hmm.
completely different. You know,
Yeah.
stories and different atmospheres, and that's just
Hmm.
really cool.
All you really need to know is that at some point Poirot was on a train, at some point he was on a boat, and now he's chilling in Italy. I mean, like when, where, how, that's the mystery.
Exactly. I remember growing up, my mom used to love murder. She wrote, my dad would always say, man, if I saw that woman coming to my town, I'd leave because everywhere she goes, somebody dies.
That's true. Oh my God, yeah, Murder She Wrote, yeah.
Yeah. If I saw her walking down the street, be like, I'm leaving. I'm
Other
going
way.
on vacation. Someone's about to
Yep.
die.
Oh my God. Um, did you and just like the other one, did you get any feel for what you thought the plot was about watching the trailer for it?
To me, the plot
Mhm.
looks like it's going to play a little bit on his mind with spiritual hauntings, things he's
Mhm.
not going to explain. But
Mhm.
I think I don't want to say it's going to be like a Scooby Doo episode, but I think he's going to be able to say, "Hey, listen,
Mhm.
this is what happened. This is what happened. This is who did. This is how it happened." But I think this movie's going to play more on his
Mhm.
mental state of, did I just see what I just saw, or is it something else? So I'm excited. I'm excited to see that.
You definitely like are in the right headspace for this because he's a very like analytical character. You know what I mean? Like he needs to have things explained, put them in their little box, and like know. So when you put this guy in a situation where he can't logically say this, that, or the other thing, he's on the ropes. Like
Yep.
you catch him off balance, and that's a new thing to see for him because he's usually kind of like in control.
Yep.
You know,
Oh,
so um. All right, so you got homework before we talk about the last movie, but you said that this is one that you're gonna go see, so you got to let me know when you see it what you think of it. All right,
I definitely will, brother. Definitely will.
fair enough. So the last movie that we'll talk about tonight was Satanic Hispanics.
Dude,
I
just the name of it, I was like, this is gonna be awesome.
that's one word for it. What that trailer do for you?
It was good to see Pedro back in movies for one thing. I've
Hmm.
seen that man since Napoleon Dynamite.
Right, and
And
now it's like serious.
yeah, I mean, it looks good, but it just looks like a movie that's just going to be completely insane,
Hmm.
and definitely looks like it's going to be heavily on the Hispanic people, which is fine with me. I love movies that That's why I love Jordan Peele. I love people that think outside the box. You know, let's make a horror film, but let's do it different. They're
Hmm.
making basically a good zombie horror film, but they're keeping it where it's in Hispanic people, which I
Yeah.
got nothing against that. But man, it
Hmm.
looked crazy. It looked insane, and it looked like I forget the actor's name that who plays Pedro, but it looks like he knows what's going on and what's happening, and
Hmm.
he's trying to tell these people. But it definitely looks interesting. It definitely looks. Have you seen the movie?
So I watched it today. I watched it this afternoon about 2 o'clock. Um, so the best way to describe this movie is if you're a horror person and you've seen you ever seen Tales from the Hood?
Yep.
So
Yep.
Tales from the Hood, right? As you're going through, you got the bookend story of the guys in the mortuary with Sims there, and he comes upon stuff and he's like, and then it like cuts away and it's like telling them like other short stories.
Okay.
And this is kind of a lot like that. The Pedro character lands himself in front of some people, and he's like, they like he lays out like all the stuff in his pockets in front of him, and he's like, you need to help me out, and you need to get me these things. And he basically is telling them all these stories based on stuff that he's got, and there's also like a bookend like a start and an end, like with him and the people that he's dealing with, but there's cutaways to different like shorts as they relate to him and the stuff that he's got. And
Right.
it is definitely like over the top, for sure. It's like B horror. It's got to be B horror. It did not get a wide release by any means. I think in my area it got two showings for 2 days, and I think that was on purpose. Like, it wasn't just us, it was just the way they put it out. Like,
Right.
other places it would probably be like that, but yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was like almost 2 hours, but like you got like the five shorts, like plus the main movie. So, and I think the big draw for this one is supposed to be they're all done by up and coming, either up and coming or established Hispanic creators, like
Okay.
directors, production teams, things like that. And it featured them pretty heavily. There was one story I joked with the person I was with. I said, because it only had white people in the scenes, and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought this was all supposed to be Hispanic people. What's going on? But
Throwing you
but
off
then
there.
then you see some other people after.
Now,
But
does the movie for 2 hours, does it keep you intrigued, or is it like slow here and then it's exciting, or is it kind of well
I
paced?
no, no, it was pretty well paced. Some of the shorts were cheesy, and some of them were cool. Like,
Right.
like in some spots you're kind of like, man, I wish I had more time with this, and other spots you're like, when is this gonna be done? Like, not the whole movie, but the short part,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So,
Huh.
but you get that sometimes, like some of them are more interesting than others.
Oh yeah.
And I think that I wouldn't be shocked if this is something that popped up on Shudder like in a month or two. At which point I would tell everybody that they need to turn on Shudder and watch it, because Shudder's like $5 a month, so it's like the
Oh
best deal in horror movies.
man, Shudder's awesome. If there's nothing on TV, I'll click on
Yeah,
Shudder. I mean,
yeah.
you can find something. You can
For,
always find
for
something.
$5 a month, it's worth it. Shudder, you need to send me some sponsorship for this plug.
I agree. I agree.
Right.
No, I'm gonna have to. That but
Yeah,
if it comes on Netflix, I definitely want to check it out because, like I said,
yeah.
it definitely was intriguing looking, but I was just like, wow, that's just crazy
That,
that it's all.
that that one's like the only one that I can't recommend for theater viewing for people, just because again, it's like a limited release. So if I saw the second showing today, there's probably not another one. But
Gotcha.
um, it all depends on your theater, I suppose. What do you got near you? Any big ones, or like you got local theaters, or?
We got a couple. Well, no, we got big ones. We do have one that I really like. It's a little one that's been around Memphis, and of course, we still have our drive-in, the original drive-in
God,
in
I'm so
America.
jealous.
I mean, I never really realized that, but we were the Memphis, Tennessee first drive-in. Still exists, still
Mhm.
there. They have retro nights where they'll.
They
I
put on
think
old
the
stuff.
yeah, we were
Yeah.
going in 2 weeks to go watch Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Oh,
And
that
then
sounds
the
so good.
Halloween is like Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. It's just fun to,
That's
I mean,
great.
because especially the younger generation, because a lot of them never experienced driving. And
No,
they're,
and I mean, like it's such a unique movie experience.
it is. It is. You're outside, you're in the air, you can bring your food, you can bring your drinks, you can get
Yeah.
comfortable, and you put the
Mhm.
speaker right there. Well, now they got them on the radio. But
Yeah.
just a fun experience. Just a fun going
Um,
to the old snack stand and getting the old
Yeah.
popcorn and the treats and everything. So, but no,
Mhm.
we usually go to the drive-in or there's a Mapco around here. But usually, if there's like a small indie film playing for a short period of time, there's a
Mhm.
theater in what we call the Midtown Memphis area, and they
Mhm.
usually show a film for like 1 or 2 days and then take it down. That's where I
Mhm.
have to go see when Lords of Salem by Zombie
Oh,
first came out. I
yeah.
have, and they showed it literally for 1 day for like 3 showings, and that was it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's about the only theater I can go to and see
Yeah.
indie movies and not movies that are just big. But no,
Yeah.
our love is that drive-in. I love the drive-in.
I think our closest drive-in's like an hour and a half away, and I scope it out every once in a while, but like it's tough. You got to really catch something that's worth seeing like these days.
Oh yeah,
Um, for us, for me, weirdly, a lot of the weird indie horrors hit Regal. Like our Regal do like this one that I saw today was at Regal, and there was another ridiculous one a couple weeks ago, Slaughterhouse with the killer sloth. Do you hear about this?
I have, I have not.
It's it's literally a girl buys a sloth to be a mascot for her at her sorority, and the things, it's a freaking killer Muppet, basically.
I
It's
got,
ridiculous.
I
That's
gotta
like
see.
Z horror.
Exactly, that's what it sounds like.
Yep, yep.
Oh my god, a
So
killer sloth. Oh my lord.
yeah,
Okay.
sometimes you need that though. Sometimes you need that stuff to remind you, like, all right, here's good horror, here's good B horror, and then there's everything else.
Agreed. Agreed.
Mhm. Yep.
That's cool. No, man, that's cool that you have that little Regal theater. I wish we had more theaters that would show more indie,
Yeah.
but and it
Yeah.
sucks 'cause they all sit empty because they're just showing the same movies that nobody wants
Hmm.
to see. And I'm just like, every once in a while they'll throw something, an old movie in there for a special night
Hmm.
and fill it out. And I'm just like, why don't you do that
More.
more often? I mean, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't own a movie theater, so I'm not sure. But the drive-in's
Hmm.
really cool about it, and that's what I just because they haven't changed anything. So the
Hmm.
light is from the
It's got the
70s.
vintage feel.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, as soon as you drive in, it just it's crazy. If you ever get a chance to look at pictures of it, because nothing's changed. It's the same as it was when they built it back in the 60s.
Wow.
The vending station, everything, the old speakers are still there. Everything. It's crazy.
That's yeah. I mean, like, I'd be in heaven. I
Yeah,
love those things. Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. No,
So last
I'm
yeah.
gonna have to go see the Nun 2, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go see. I want to go see Oppenheimer. I'm very
You're
intrigued with that movie.
it's in this day and age, you're lucky if a movie lasts 3 or 4 weeks. And Oppenheimer and Barbie came out in June and they're still in the theater. That's like crazy to me.
I agree.
So
I agree.
it's really that's got some real staying power. I mean, if you get a chance, it's definitely I saw that in IMAX and it was worth it to see on the big screen, that one.
Okay.
Um, Especially for some of the like the bomb stuff. I mean, that's really like the stuff you want to see on screen. People talking. There was a lot of talking in the movie too. That stuff, take it or leave it where you see that. But
Right.
there are a few parts that definitely feel better on the big versus. I haven't seen it at home yet, but I gotta figure it doesn't look as good.
Nah. Okay. Well,
But,
cool.
so
I
you got
gotta go see it.
Oppenheimer, you got The Nun. Is there anything that's not out yet that you're looking forward to?
Uh, man. Be completely honest with you, man. Not really. The only one I'm kind of curious, but I don't really think I'm going to enjoy it when it comes out is when they finally do make the new Blade movie. I'm I'm
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay.
not I'm yeah, just I'm not and I
He's
understand Wesley's
he's
too
a
old.
good,
I understand that,
yeah.
but I
The
don't
new
really like the actor and I don't like
Mhm.
the look and I don't like the way the preview show Blade is like the sharp dressed looking And I don't
Yeah.
mean to be mean, but like the Black Panther, Regal, and he owns, he's got to dress up. Blade's a half human, half vampire. I don't think he's caring about his fashion sense. But like I said, I'll give
Yeah.
it a chance. But man, you're
Mhm.
gonna have to show me a lot because, in my opinion, the original Blade made the Marvel universe.
Well, yeah, no, he did. I mean, 1999, nobody had even. Well, actually, no, he was what, 97, I think.
Yep.
There hadn't
Howard
been
the
any
Duck
big
was,
Marvel ones
yeah,
yet.
because Duck was first. Howard the
Mhm.
Duck, and then no one
Yeah.
wanted Blade, and Wesley's like, dude, they're like, hell, do what you want with them, and look what he did with
Mhm.
them.
It was wonderful.
Just still one, just an incredible
Mhm.
visual, stunning movie. But like I said, going out and seeing a movie, that's probably the
Mhm.
one I might go see. But other than that, man, there's really,
No Saw 10, no Exorcist.
I'm not going. I can't do it, man. I can't.
No.
And it sucks because I know The Exorcist
Mhm.
TV, yes, but I won't go see it in the theater. I can't do it. I just can't
No.
do it. And Saw, man, they lost me on part two, man. I'm sorry. And I know there's people out there that love it and enjoy it,
Yeah.
and God bless
Yeah.
them. But to
Yeah.
me, that it's just gore horror stuff,
It
and
is.
that's
Yeah.
not the kind of horror I like.
I will say I like the idea for what the story is for this next Saw, but the problem for me is something similar where like, you know, they kind of dropped the ball on having good story a lot of movies ago. So this new one, even though it's Saw 10, it's supposed to be set between like 2 and 3. And I'm just
Okay,
like, well, why didn't you do this after 2 but before 3? What are you waiting for?
is it, but
So
as you well know, they knew they could just throw people getting murdered, murder, murder, and make money.
you remember there was a stretch for a handful of years there where every like Halloween there was a new Saw movie coming out. That was like the Halloween movie at the time, and I think they figured out pretty quick, like people just don't care because like they weren't putting out a good product. It was just another number.
Yep. I mean, prime
So
example. I don't know how you feel about the movie, but Halloween Ends.
what do you
If you
what
know
do you
me,
think? I know you're a dieharder on Halloween.
it was a load of shit, dude. I would have rather sat in the toilet for 2 hours. I'm sorry. And I hate to say that because you know how big of a fan. I love Michael Myers.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's my life. But when Halloween ended, me and
Mhm.
my wife literally were in the theater and looked at each other and
And you're
just
like,
said,
what was that?
what was that we just watched? Michael's only seen in a sewer being fed by it made no sense. And there was so much they could have done. And I enjoyed the remake, Halloween. Halloween
Mhm.
Kills I could deal with, except for the evil
Mhm.
dice night and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
Halloween Ends, I was so excited, and we sat there, and I was just like, that was just so awful. What did you like it? I
I
mean,
So I liked the idea that they were gonna try something different, and then like when they put it into practice, it kind of didn't work for me. Like I'm over here reading like, oh, okay, well they're gonna have this other guy and it's gonna like mirror Michael, but then I'm like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, this doesn't like this would have made like a cool this maybe would have been a cool sequel after Ends, like if tie up everything with Michael and then say he inspired other people. But to kind of take that away, that proper ending away from Michael kind of felt a little like didn't really do it for me.
no, to me, it was just a bad
Yeah.
way to end. I mean, Bloomhouse did such a good job with it, and David Green, the
Mhm.
script and everything, and then
Yeah.
it turned into what
Mhm.
everything else turned into. Money takes over, and you
Mhm.
just pump something out. But yeah,
Mhm.
Halloween Ends didn't really do it for me.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And I mean, Kills also was kind of like it was fine, but like one of the things about Michael that you always liked is you don't see his face. And you get a lot of Michael face in that, like, and I'm just like, how am I supposed to be scared of this guy now that I've seen it? I'm seeing this whole town beat up like an octogenarian here. Like, this is just, I'm not scared of him. I feel bad for him.
No, no, I can understand that, man. You're right because they do show a lot of non-mass.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody walked by for that part where they were like beating him up, it just looks like you're beating up a janitor. Like,
Yep. It doesn't look like Mike.
not a killer with a knife.
No, I agree. I
But
100% agree on that one. But like I said,
yeah.
it is what it is. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm just not a big Anthony and Michael Hall fan, so I just did really like him taking over
Yeah.
Tommy's spot. But I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But they had to get his moments and good parts. But I will
Yeah.
admit the Halloween, the first one they did,
2018 one, yeah.
yeah, that was because me and
That was good.
Sandra actually were in Pasadena at the 40th anniversary when that movie came out, and since
Nice.
we bought VIP tickets, we got to see the movie before it was released. So
Nice.
there was like 75 of us in this little theater in Pasadena, and in Pasadena they're all old school, so it's a tiny little theater, and the director came out there and he's like, "I hope you guys enjoy it." And I just
That's
remember,
so awesome though that you got to have that experience.
oh, dude, it was so fun. It was so fun because the next day, we're going up all these actors saying, "Man, you were great as Michael." And he's like, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, "Well, we saw the." He's like, "Oh, you got to go." And I was like, and then he just started asking me, "Did you think my walk was good? Was my head tilt? Is it appropriate?" And he was asking. I was like, "Dude, you did awesome. You did awesome." But they were
That
really nice
that's
guys.
great.
But that trip was fun, mainly
Hmm.
because I proposed and she said
Oh.
yes. So that made the trip special. But no, it was a fun all around trip. But yes, to experience the movie, because
Hmm.
for me personally, I was so excited. I was like,
Hmm.
man, I've been wanting this movie for so long, and I didn't want
Hmm.
to be disappointed. And from midnight until 2 o'clock in the morning,
Hmm.
I was in seven heaven.
Hmm.
I was enjoying every aspect of that movie, and I thought they did such a good job with it.
Yeah. That's wow, man. If once in a lifetime type things like that.
It, it
That's
is. It
the
is.
things in life that we definitely have to appreciate.
You're correct because they had no mention of it. They just said that if you were a VIP ticket, they were going to do something special. So I was thinking autograph, something like that.
Hmm.
And then they're like, "No, you get to go a mile down the street and see Halloween before everyone else does." And of course,
We had to pay extra.
we had to pay extra.
Yeah.
But they didn't say that's what was going to happen. So you had all these other fans that were upset. They were like,
Hmm.
"Well, why didn't we?" "Oh, I guess you should have spent the extra
Should have
money
spent
for."
that money for the VIP.
I mean, for one time, it
Hmm.
came in handy. But no, that was a fun experience. Wouldn't change it for the world. One of the best trips I've had. Plus, being at the 40th anniversary. I mean,
Mm.
good God, I've been to every single one. Unfortunately, can't make this one, the 45th, but
Mm.
I got a lot of friends going, so they'll have some fun. It's just a very expensive trip.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. When you're in our line of work too, it's like money coming in and it goes right out once you see something you like.
Yeah, well, you gotta like as well as I do. You gotta spend money to make money. I mean, you'll make it, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
here's this dude. He's like, "Hey, man, I got a
That's
cool."
that only works for the stuff that you're selling. It doesn't work when you make the money and then it turns out that the thing that you're taking in is for the personal.
True,
Because
true.
I have that problem too often.
Well, I've gotten a little bit over that problem as I get older.
Hmm.
I'm looking at stuff, and I'm like,
It's just
no.
when dealing with me that you have that problem.
Well, you get my weakness, man. You give me my
Mhm.
soundtracks and my press kits. You know my buttons to push.
Yep.
So, man,
Oh my
I
God.
got one question for you. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, you can't do that. You
Yeah, I
can't have
can. Yeah, I can.
just one favorite movie.
Horror movie. What's your favorite horror movie?
Horror Monster Squad. Monster Squad.
Wolfman's
Yep.
got Nard. I got you.
Wolfman's
I
got
got
nerds. And Dracula doesn't like garlic butter toast.
you. He does it, man.
Mhm.
Comedy.
I don't know why. Yeah, that's just like quintessential 80s horror. Gets you the Universal monsters from the earlier part of the century there. Gets you the best of the 80s. The music's good. It hits all the buttons, you know.
The group of the boys hanging out.
Mhm.
The You're right. It hit every button you could possibly hit. The Universal
And
monsters.
it's a
Your group
solid
of
like 90 minutes like any good horror movie should be.
Yep.
So
I agree, brother. I
there's
agree.
not enough memorabilia out there for Monster Squad. Trust me, I look I look all the time.
Dude, there isn't. There's probably
Mm-hmm.
vinyl albums and stuff like that, but about it, they never did that much stuff for it.
All I'm gonna tell you is I never sent you a picture of a Monster Squad vinyl, but I definitely found one.
Oh, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Wise not to send it.
Yeah. No, that one slid into my personal. Uh,
It happens, man. It
yeah.
happens.
So thank you for being a great guest. Thank you for
Well,
also one of my best customers, and just being a great guy. How about that?
well, man, I appreciate it, and the same to you, man. Like I said, I told my friends, Facebook has a lot of problems, but
Mhm.
Facebook also brings people together. You know, like me and you,
Yeah.
and I have so many like Roy and Jason. You know, from the Baltimore. You know, those are my
Yeah.
brothers. I
It
mean,
is.
you get to know people, and I see all the hate out there
Mhm.
and all the crap. It's just
Mhm.
people need to remember sometimes Facebook is good. It can bring some people. But no, brother, I've had fun. This. I've never done anything like this before. I wish I could have been a little bit more informative on those
You
first
were
two, but
you
you
were
know,
great. You were
but
great.
I definitely.
Here's the thing. It's all about opinions. I'm not worried about like being in the know. I just want to know how you feel about it, and you did great.
Well, when I see that movie, Attica Christie's new one, I will definitely let you know. And None 2, I will definitely let you know what I think of it.
Please do.
I
It's been
will.
another episode of Movies and Minutes, and again, check out that link in the description for Eric's Secret Stash for all your horror collectibles and memorabilia needs. All right, guys. Have a good
Brother, I
one.
appreciate you. Man, I appreciate you. Have a good one too, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye bye.